Very important area. We saved it for a little bit later, specifically because for a lot of people right now, they'll come in for sessions, or people that are going through self-healing processes, people that are going through this awakening process, people that you might be quote unquote wanderer starseed, and you may be subjected to what I call the maladies of the starseed. And by that what I mean is the conditions that we come in with, which for a lot of us, you guys, it's usually these predetermined experiences of some form of addiction, possibly abuse, possibly an abuser scenario. But what they are, these predetermined maladies that we come in with. Sometimes they're karmic conditions, sometimes they're choices that we make. Sometimes it's a whole mix of different things. But one of the places in our body that tends to be the cellular recording device for those very specific types of traumas or difficult experiences tends to reside within the psoas. And so it is the psoas. From a basic perspective, this is the muscle that connects your legs to your spine, supports your diaphragm, it wraps around your pelvis in there and your hips and holds them all together. I think it's either maybe one of the biggest muscles in the body, might be the second biggest, I don't know. Whatever it is, this is an incredibly important fibrous muscle. It's a literal biointelligent massive tissue. I think some writer might have called that a biointelligent organ in the body. What that means is, from an energetic perspective, the psoas can act as a cellular recording device, holding and replaying energy of unresolved emotional, physical, or sexual trauma. When we have these really traumatic experiences in childhood, it lodges itself within this area of the body, especially, those really, really, difficult consciousness fracturing experiences that can come with things like ritual sexual abuse, that can come with things like rape scenarios, that can come with things like extreme emotional and mental abuse to the level in which the body's unable to resolve or deal with that trauma frequency, and it ends up being stored within the body. And where does it get stored? Oftentimes in the liver, in the kidneys, or organs, other areas, but really one of the biggest places, the psoas. And so what it does is it holds and replays unresolved emotional, physical, or sexual trauma. Some people will go through, certain types of yoga, and they'll have this unknowing opening of the psoas, and that will begin this wild experience of almost physical illness in their body for hours, and they have this incredible emotional outpouring. And what that is that psoas muscle opening up, flexing, activating, and releasing those cellular memories. And so psoas has been called our emotional core due to its direct connectivity with the energy process through the lower three chakras, with particular emphasis on the sacral chakra. Our sacral chakra holds the fire of our creative sexual energy and can be a fertile environment for negative energetic manifestations resulting from unresolved traumatic experiences and even past or parallel lives. That is a thing that we find in clearing sessions. Oftentimes, coming out of the sacral chakra, which is the second chakra, oftentimes in the genital region, just above the genital region, or within the area of the groin, slightly above the sacral chakra, as being the housing, of our energy, the creative and sexual energy. That's one of the common attachment points of very parasitic types of energy. That's why we look there oftentimes for things like sexual misery implantation, holographic trauma inserts. And so just, because we didn't cover this earlier on, just very quickly, holographic trauma inserts can act as a false memory uploaded into the layers of the etheric layers of the body, to an extent that when certain, events, pulses, electrical impulses will move through that area of the body, it can create somewhat of a false memory type of a scenario, a holographic trauma, possibly something that did not exist, or the replay of an event that existed in a past life, for the purpose of reactivating or exacerbating whatever existing vibrational elements of that wound that exist in the current host body. So holographic trauma inserts can literally be another person's trauma or a previous life's trauma implanted into your own physical body. Where do those go? Oftentimes in the psoas, not always. To be really honest with you, I have not encountered many things that I will call a true holographic trauma insert. In my opinion, most of the time, they're just trauma that exists in the body that has to be at some point released in order for us to kind of move on in our emotional development. And so that also comes with things like victimizer technology, and even siphon points that we talked about earlier on. Once again, I apologize for those of you guys that missed part one. Siphon points exist as kind of a connection point in your auric field that can allow a hyperdimensional entity to come along and literally attach onto your auric field and creating a feeling or push it in or out or whatever it is. They can siphon life force energy. And so along the psoas, around the back, the tailbone, within the hips, within the groin, within this area of the body, sometimes we encounter these black miasmatic nodes or connection points within layers of this area that can serve as those sort of hit and run black hole siphon things. And so when those are connected to things like the root chakra, the solar plexus, what can be affected there? Well, the solar plexus works with our intuitive capabilities. It works with our self-determination and that emotional, energetic momentum in our body. And so when energy is extracted from that area due to a replay of a traumatic or some sort of trauma insert within the psoas, what happens is that solar plexus energy can be effectively shut down, just like it can shut down the sacral chakra through some form of sexual implantation. That can also extend down to the root chakra, right down underneath us. And while, you know, the psoas doesn't necessarily attach to what we would call any of the physical manifestation of the root chakra structure in our body, it still comprises the base of our so-called pyramid of needs within the self. And so when the root chakra is affected, along with those other areas, the psoas, we find ourselves often repeating cycles of negative self-manifestation, as well as a host of other lower chakra issues, which for a lot of us can be this really deeply inset and programmed beliefs, you know, lack mentalities, programming that will exist in this, you know, psoas right there as being this, you know, almost like an organ in terms of holding cellular memory. The psoas can also hold deep elements of generational and ancestral programming that we pick up from our parents, from our family of origin. It can be interlaid or through some, you know, maybe we can even say holographic trauma inserts. Those sources or frequencies of energy can also be placed within the psoas, so that oftentimes when we, you know, we try to heal ourselves, we try to take new moves, we try to create change, we try to break through old cycles, especially old tendencies, old beliefs, we end up, you know, going through some form of reactivation of latent trauma energy in the psoas, and that can have this effect that literally just shuts us down each and every time. And so it's very important to begin doing trauma release exercises. Some form of, you know, yin yoga is very, very helpful. Something that can open the pelvic floor, really open up and expand the musculature in the psoas. There's a number of ways to do it. There's a lot of people that can really help you with that.